Need computer training for a group or office? Contact us today to get a free demo of our training at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.
Within Excel, slicers are used to visually filter data within tables, pivot charts, data visualizations in Power View, and Power Pivot tables and charts. To insert a slicer into a worksheet, select one of these types of objects within a worksheet. Then click the Slicer button that appears within the Filters button group on the Insert tab within the ribbon to open the Insert Slicer dialog box. This dialog box will then display the names of the fields within the associated tables of the selected object. Click to place a check mark in the checkbox next to the name of the field by which you want to filter the data within a slicer. Then click the OK button to add a slicer for the selected object into the worksheet. You can click and drag the slicer panel around within the worksheet to reposition it if needed. You can also use the resizing handles that appear around the perimeter of the slicer to resize it if desired. The slicer will display buttons that represent the unique values that are contained within the selected field. To filter the selected object, click the button within the slicer to choose the associated values to display within the related object. The selected data object will then be filtered by your selection within the slicer and only display records for the current button selected. Note that you can use the multiple selection techniques of holding the Shift or Control keys and then clicking on multiple buttons within the slicer to select multiple adjacent or non-adjacent slicer buttons to filter for multiple values if needed. You can clear any slicer filters that are applied by simply clicking the Clear Filters button in the upper right corner of the slicer pane. To delete a slicer, click the slicer pane to select it, and then press the Delete or Del key on your keyboard to delete the selected slicer. Alternately, you may right-click on the slicer pane, and then select the Remove Field Name command from the pop-up menu to delete a slicer. Note that the field name value will be the name of the field used to slice the data.
Like what you see? Get a free demo of our training for groups of 5 or more at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.